I think we're back on. Jamie.
Yeah, I'm gonna start. So before we go into resolutions 25, 26, 25, 27, I want to let the board know, which we give the opportunity to review, a timeline and a copy of the letter and correspondence that the office received. And as you're going through that, I'm gonna allow Katie to explain the timeline.
The gap in communication is obviously unfortunate, and steps need to be taken to fix the contact form and add a point of contact on our application materials. However, I do think there was still ample opportunity for this prospective applicant to reach out and have those questions answered. Really the logical points of contact are the executive director and the listing agent. Their information, email address, and phone numbers are very readily available. And looking at the information that was submitted on the contact form, there's nothing that suggests to me a question that would have prevented timely submission of an application. So, I think there were other opportunities that were not exhausted, stopped by the office, sent in mail. I recognize that Mr. Romani may think that this is unfair, and there certainly is some unfairness, but I think from the board's perspective, the unfairness that I'd be concerned about is the unfairness to the applicants that did timely submit. And now that we do have an applicant that's been recommended by the A&D committee, we would have an aggrieved party on their part, and there's nothing in the board's bylaws or disposition policy that provides for a procedure or process to reopen the application period and stay a recommendation of the A&D committee. So that's a real concern for me. Is how that particular purchaser, an applicant who did timely submit, would be impacted. As the board knows, that the application process is really such that an applicant needs to submit their best and final in the application. It's not a traditional negotiation where there's multiple counteroffers. Now that bids have been discussed at an open meeting, a new prospective purchaser would be at a clear advantage over parties that timely submitted. So, with all of that in mind, my recommendation to the board is to decline this request.
Does the board need to do anything if that's what we decide that is to proceed?
Action on it, you can move forward with the resolution that's before the board.
Do we have public opinion that will speak?
If the board would like.
That's entirely up to the board.
That's up to the
Typically,
board.
it is not standard.
It is not standard.
It is not
Okay.
standard. But it's up to the board.
I mean, what more would there be than what was already captured in the letter, I guess is the question that I would
She's
have.
here with her hand raised.
I mean, if somebody would like to make a motion, right?
You don't have to make a motion to allow,
So
but if the board would like to hear it, then.
I'll leave that open to the table.
Well, I think the question would be, is there any other information that we would learn that would change any decision that we make? I mean, I would say for the record that as already has been discussed, we do need to make sure that we learn from this. And it sounds like we've already made some adjustments, and there was an error on the website that was fixed. And have we added contact information to the application yet? Or if not, is that something we should do probably?
The phone number's on there,
Yeah.
the address is on there. Where to submit to. It doesn't say extension 1. Looking back at the call logs, obviously there was a call where somebody went 24 seconds and didn't select 1, 2, or 3, then called back a few minutes later and chose 2 to select number 2. So, that was the fact there.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I feel like is our responsibility, is to, do our best to have the best possible communication in the future. But yeah,
To that point, I believe everything we have in place. I do not believe any board member or member of the organization, being their ED or project manager, there's no flaw here. I believe there's ample, as Katie said, there's ample ways to reach out. There's 3 numbers in any real estate transaction. You contact the listing agent. And if you don't get a response in a fashion that you believe is appropriate, then you just keep reaching out. And I think the fact that we had
14?
14 total applications completed in the amount of time that we set forth the process, I believe we did our due diligence as a board and as an organization.
I agree.
Agreed. I agree. Also, just to make note, it actually was listed on May 28th, which is 2 weeks earlier than suggested in the letter.
So,
And I think, Katie, we have to have it listed on our website 7 days prior to disposition, and then 7 days after as well, so everybody knows about it. And so 44, that's about 6 times longer than it
that was my
is
question.
necessary.
How many days was it listed?
44 days.
44 days total?
From the acquisition disposition to May 28th. I think that's 31 in May is 3, plus 11 and 30 in June is 44.
Katie, you're confident in your recommendation?
I am, yes. And I'd like to add, I think it's important for the board to remember that you guys contracted with a broker for this exact reason. That's what he is here for.
Correct.
Typically, under the vast majority of circumstances, a purchaser wouldn't contact a seller. But, there was ample opportunity here in my opinion.
I would like to add to that, only because as this newly formed group of board members, we did bounce back and forth. Should we use the website or should we use a broker, right? I think this is a perfect scenario of why we bring a broker into it. Because if we had not contracted with a broker and this situation did arise with just the website, then we might need to look in the mirror and say, hey, what can we do better, right? Or, hey, did somebody miss an opportunity to give someone a fair shot? But in all the times that I've called Mr. Fitzgerald, and quite frankly, all the times I reached out to our prior real estate agent, that person picked up the phone. And that person gave me the information that I asked that person for in a very reasonable time. So to follow up what Katie said, the fact that's what Bill is here for. Bill is here to field calls from our prospective buyers. So as she stated twice, I'm going to go on the record again and state, I am confident that all of us did our due diligence and upheld our duty as a board and as employees of the board. So if there's nothing further on that, resolution 2526 to dispose of 3209 7th Avenue.
Second.
Second, Mr. Sam. Do you want to talk about?
Yeah. The applicant is a partnership between two, I believe they went to RPI.
They did.
They have about 4 properties in the city. I remark on that because the letter that was sent remarked that there was hundreds of properties this person owns, but they just had 4, and one individual works in construction management. They're just a small landlord in the city, and they've shown financing of $600,000 on top of a loan letter saying they could get a loan or they could use their money. They have the options. And they're wise in the way they want to do this. See, because these are 2 different properties, 3209 is separate from 3211. That's why we're separating these with 2 resolutions. they want to fix one of them so they can then take a refi loan to then have extra capital for the other. It sounds like they've got all their ducks in a row to make sure that this will be a successful project. And if the land bank, again, looks back, we've awarded this in the past to somebody who wanted to chop it up into 12 units. And then we had to take it back. So this property's got a new roof. It's all stable. It's a shell inside. It's great for somebody to make 6 units of quality housing. There's a lot of considerations in buildings like this, especially when they're joined in the middle. You have light and ventilation requirements. You need a quality architect to make sure that you're putting your bathrooms and kitchens along those walls where they don't need windows, and you're putting your bedrooms on the other side. And so I think they've understood all that, and they're excited to move forward.
I would just like to add, if it makes the board feel any more confident in our decision to move forward, then there, at the A&D committee meeting, we went through the proposals, and the proposals that we did get for these 2 properties,
Or 3.
3, I'm sorry.
3 seem.
All 3 proposals, and the people that we are awarding to, their proposal was done very professionally, very informative. So I would hope that would carry on into
The way they were.
what they carry out in the job. So just to reassure people that we're doing the right thing. So if there is no further discussion, all in favor of resolution 2526 to dispose of 3209 7th Avenue?
Aye.
Any opposed? 0 opposed. Resolution 2526 to dispose of 3209 passes. Resolution 2527 to dispose of 3211 7th Avenue. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Brad, I mean, it's the same
Same
bidder,
applicant,
same
yeah.
story.
Mhm.
So if there's no further discussion, all in favor of resolution 2527 to dispose of 3211 7th Avenue?
Aye.
Any opposed? 0 opposed. Resolution 2527 to dispose of 3211 7th passes. That will wrap up our resolutions, and I do not believe there's any old or new business, correct?
Right.
But we have we do have a letter.
Other
From the-
business, yes.
Other business it's regarding the purchaser.
Okay, so yeah, let me just give some background on 103 Ferry Street. Some of the older board members might recognize that address as a property we took from the city. We then resold it to a developer who then fixed it and sold it to an owner occupant. The owner occupant's been there 4.5 years. Their attorney has reached out to me to ask for sort of a way to sell this building before the 5-year period ends, which is about 6 months from now. I said, write a letter, because, I don't want to exhaust all the resources if we're not going to get somebody to request it. And now they've written a letter dated July 9th. I think the email came in. It says 2 hours ago from yesterday at the top right. So it was, about 24 hours ago. So I added it to the agenda just so we could talk. Maybe Katie can guide us and see what the wishes of the board are in terms of allowing this person to sell 6 months earlier from a 5-year.
So it was they had to hold it for 5 years?
Yeah, that was the rule. Or we had to approve the sale. And we can approve the sale, but they're really, if you look at the attorney's email, the potential purchaser is requesting an original lease for the land bank as opposed to authorization for the same, if it's possible. So it's a request the board can consider.
This is certainly within the board's discretion, entirely up to the board on how you want to handle this. It strikes me that we have 6 months left to go. I understand as an attorney in residential sales, it can be difficult to find a purchaser that is willing to wait for authorization from a public entity and, potential board meeting a month later, 2 months later. So I do recognize that this person has a challenge in front of them.
So Katie, can you talk about the strategy? Would somebody make a motion? Should we table it for next month to draft a resolution? Can we post-draft a resolution? Do we need a resolution? I don't know.
I would say it would be a motion from the board, and full board vote. What would be? appropriate here, to release it from the restrictions that it's currently on.
What is this last line? I know it's purchase is requested in the original release.
What is that?
That's probably referring to an original document that needs to be recorded, not, so it would be a release of whatever the restrictions are in the deed, which I personally have not reviewed.
Yes.
So that
And I
was,
haven't seen them either because
so that was from the first buyer,
that
correct?
was 5 years ago, plus a couple, the year it took to rehab the place. So 6 years ago, we had this draft document.
So,
And I kind of asked them, I said, would you provide what you're seeing from the county clerk? Because if I get them to do some legwork, it's helpful for us to have as much information as possible. I'm sure we can go to the deed and look it all up and everything.
so my recommendation would be to have you and Katie review whatever that last item is being, asked for.
And then come
The
back,
original, yeah, I mean.
come back to the board in August.
Yeah.
I would suggest we have a brief discussion just to see where the board is. I mean, it's not binding, but like, I feel like, I don't know that we won't have any accountability, but we have an owner occupant who's selling, they say, to another owner occupant. That seems, and 6 months before they could have done whatever they wanted. That seems fine to
And it
me.
could take 2 months to close.
Yeah, and the
It takes 4
closing, it
months.
might not even happen.
Yeah, I
Now,
don't think asking is-
we don't know that's what's happening. That's what they've told us is happening. So, but I mean, I feel like I wouldn't have an issue with this.
No, as long as whatever they're asking for is reviewed.
Well, whatever motion you make, we'll probably say, you make a motion to allow for this, to be removed with these contingencies. Then at that point, those hurdles need to be met in order for us to do what the board's wishes are.
So Andrew, if I'm understanding correctly, are you asking for some type of documentation or some history on the buyer?
I don't know that I have two thoughts on that. One is, I don't know, can we do that?
I don't think.
And do we care? Because
What are we?
would it make a difference? They could wait 4 months more
Correct.
and sell to,
I also
some
think that, I mean,
national
she
rental
seems she's in
corporation.
financial, which I understand 6 months, 4 months could make a difference to this person. I mean, and she's mostly filled her application.
Yeah. I think if we were able to reach out to this,
Joy, is it?
yes,
Joy David.
and let them know that we just request what they're seeing so we can let our council review it, then the board will meet next month to.
Does the new owner have to do any criteria pass other than, like, do they have to, does it have to be owner occupied? Does that next
No,
buyer?
after the
So-
6 months
this-
would be up, or
She can sell
if you
that.
guys move forward with
Okay.
this request,
Okay.
then at that point, it just becomes free of land bank
Okay.
restrictions. Which you'll see more of as the land, we're putting a 10-year restriction on affordability on everything we sell. So 10 years from now, whoever the board is gonna have to remove those requirements.
Tomorrow, I don't see anything wrong with us granting this person to move forward.
But-
I just, because of that last line jumped out at me. And without us knowing what that is,
Mhm.
just for us protecting ourselves in the
Yeah,
organization.
we can't vote on right? We can't have a resolution without knowing exactly
What it is.
Well, yeah, this isn't a resolution, this is a motion.
Or a
I
motion.
believe, at this point. And so,
Well, yes, and you're right. I mean, we need to know what, Katie needs to know what it is that we're.
Right, I can't speak to the restrictions that are currently on the property. I don't know.
We don't know what they
Yeah,
are.
I
yeah,
don't know if there's a 10-year affordability covenant or a 5-year.
Yeah,
5-year
and they want
owner
all of it
occupied or
removed.
not.
yeah.
Um,
So that needs to be verified before we can officially do something, I think, right? Like, otherwise we're like,
So the motion is
whatever.
to further explore what is available to us.
Well, if we're just gonna wait until.
We'll just
until next
table it.
month, then I
Okay.
think it can
We
be
just table this and if you would
Okay.
be willing to
Mhm.
pass along the news.
yeah, I mean, I only brought that up because if there was a consensus that, no, we don't want to release anything, well, then why send them off to research? But I
Well,
don't
would
think
it
that's
be-
the case.
Would it
right?
be fair to say that the board is willing to agree to let this,
Or to consider, pending
to consider
the
if-
details of the
Right, right.
requirements.
Yeah, we want details.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
maybe.
but it's worth like we want it to be looked at, I guess is the question.
If Katie reviews the documents and everything seems within our lane to go ahead and permit this person to go ahead and sell early, would it be safe to say that the majority of us are in agreement with that? If Katie recommends that,
Yes.
so then would it be safe for Grant to share that with?
I think that's fine,
Yeah.
assuming it's the standard 5-year owner occupancy restriction.
But
And
but
that they
unless-
substantially complied with all of their obligations.
But unless there's a motion today, it's gonna happen in August, which
Correct.
just for them, they're gonna have to wait one more month for their
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, I
But
don't
to be
think
honest, they could have sent this letter. I mean-
as soon as they thought they were gonna sell it.
I've been talking to this person for about a month or two. They
Oh,
called
okay.
Paul too,
Mhm.
so, you know.
Should they bring a contingent contract to you, Brad, just so that we can see what's
I
on
don't-
the
I don't-
contract?
Well, I mean, the potential purchaser called me too to ask me, what is your restriction? What are your restrictions? So this thing's going like the purchaser, the buyer.
Because nobody really knows.
Nobody,
Yeah.
right, well, like, it's in the deed documents.
Yeah.
And,
So
you know,
look
we
at
have
it,
changed
right?
attorneys a couple times since then, so
All right, so Katie's gotta do her.
Yeah.
Katie
She's
would have to
got
do her
to-
homework to let you know what you're allowing
And
for.
if I had just had it, one day before, I would have been able to pull it up.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, the
That's fair. That's
timestamp
fair.
was
I mean-
yesterday when I
Yep.
Yeah.
screenshotted
That's
it,
fair.
so.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice not to have them wait. That's how it is, I feel like, right? There's nothing, we don't need to go
Right,
to
I mean-
extraordinary efforts at this point.
But I think that from your guys' discussion, it sounds like if this isn't too much of an ask, it doesn't sound like too much of an ask, that they can probably feel confident that by the August meeting, I think it's August 20th, they will know more. And Katie would already know what she needs to do to give them that sort of relief if it's possible, and then she'd be able to execute it in whatever fashion. But there's probably a filing time, I don't know. But
So I can file something the same day.
yeah, so
If there's nothing further, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I just got one question. Is the mayor gonna appoint a new board member?
it's a great question. Jamie
I'm
did
working
send
on
an email for
I'm
that,
working on it.
Okay.
Yes.
and we still have Lance.
Conversation, I heard back yesterday. I'm at least getting a response, but I'll leave it at that, all right? So, again, if there's nothing further, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No, motion passes. We're adjourned.